the Curlew LIFE project decided that this is the best place to really focus on curlew conservation in Scotland. The wetness of the reserve is one of the main things. So when you look out, you can see all those little islands where it's harder for predators to get to the nests. We have really high densities here because of that type of habitat, and that is because we still have this functioning floodplain. At the same time, it's open, so there's not a lot of trees developing onto the floodplain naturally either. So the curlews can actually see predators coming as well and actually defend their nests. This is it, yeah, we're down at ready to go into the wet bits. This is a very different area that we saw earlier with the drone though. This part of the floodplain has been modified more than the area where we were earlier. And that means that we have to do a lot more management on these bits. When you walk through a grassland, the way you can tell if it's good for curlew or not is basically anything in between your ankle and your knee height, that is good for curlew. If it's higher, it's harder to move through. If it's too low, you lose that variation, and there's a lot less invertebrates in there. We create variation in the height of the grasses, of the vegetation. So the smaller areas are easy for the curlews to walk through and easy to find some food as well. But then they need the higher vegetation to hide themselves in, really. And that provides a lot of the invertebrates as well. You have a lot more invertebrates in this type of grassland with variation in the height. Yeah, we took away the shrub in this area, so basically opened the landscape for curlew here. And by doing so, we created this open habitat, which is what the ground nesting waders, including curlew, will use. The container we have here, that's where we burn all the shrub in. So in this specific location, it's about 6 hectares that we managed, but actually that improves about 30 hectares of ground. And in the best case scenario, you get about 1 pair every 10 hectares. So for all the work we did over winter here, we might have 3 curlew pairs extra in this area, which is a big win, but still a small number. Yeah, I would put my nest here if I was a curlew. But it's high, it's away from the water, so that's one thing. It can flood too much, but there's good variation in the vegetation here as well. So it's harder to find for predators. And yeah, this is just a nice little tussock, enough vegetation to make a nest out of. They don't do much really. They don't really gather nest material, but they use what's around, and they'll just use their bum to make a little bit of a dent in the vegetation, and moving from left to right. We call it nest scraping, and that's a good indication if we see that happening in an area that, okay, in that area there's going to be some nests. There will be 4 eggs usually. That's the first clutch. And when we find a nest with 4 eggs in them, that's when we are confident that we can start monitoring the nests without disturbing them too much. But yeah, we put this next to the nest just to identify what will happen, what will happen with the nest if it gets predated. We want to know what the predator was, and if we can then eventually reduce the predation pressure on curlew. Needs to be camouflaged better though. So at the moment I've got 118 images on there, so there will be mostly ducks running around or rabbits, but there could be a fox or a badger in there as well, which is interesting to know when we're looking at the predator populations onto the marsh. They are on all the access points towards the main breeding areas that we have on the reserve. So I have 13 cameras out in total, and they're out 24/7 throughout the whole year to really have a good idea of the activity of predators on Insh marshes. I want to be in a position where I can celebrate and be enthusiastic about a predation event when I see it, because that would mean the predators are doing well and the curlews are doing well as well. So that is the ultimate goal, yeah. Predation should be part of what we have here. And we want to really rely on the habitat, the natural habitat, to protect the nests, and also have high enough densities of ground nesting waders so they can protect their nests themselves against predators as well. And that's a relationship that is natural. It's been around like that for thousands of years, and it could still be possible if we manage to landscape in a good way.